From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Thank you for joining us. It is Thursday, October 30th.
Hey, big day of news for you. Open up the windows. Let's get started.
I think it is very possible that the people who stole these items don't really know themselves what they have.
Priceless items swiped, and we're not talking about the bandits that hit the Louvre in Paris. An Oakland museum hit hard with losses to historic California objects.
Very worried because I don't know if I'm gonna get the help for my kids.
The voice of a Bay Area mom wondering how she will feed her children as the U.S. government shutdown means food assistance benefits will run dry. The California plan to keep food on tables.
Will not let this federal government shutdown prevent you from putting food on the table for your families.
We're tracking who's stepping up as a national battle rages on in Congress.
I mean, I'll put my body on the line if it comes to that.
People in Santa Cruz saying no to the Trump administration's plans to expand offshore drilling, the blowback on land and water.
Spreading joy at exactly the time and place where we need it most.
And a Jurassic site in San Francisco just in time for Halloween. We'll take you to this haunt in Dolores Park.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be a little scared seeing that in person. I'm glad I saw it on the TV screen first, so I'm prepared. Here's what's happening for us as we head outside this morning. Looking a lot different for us already as we head outside. Cooler and cloudier conditions on tap for us today. Those clouds I'm turning on right away. And I'm gonna paint this picture for you. Heading into this afternoon, we have 60s along the coast, 70s widespread throughout our inland areas, but just yesterday, we're dealing with 80s. Now, yesterday was an above average day, I will say. And as we take a quick look at what's going on, starting off with that temperature contour map, yesterday, we saw a lot more heat in those inland areas. Let me turn on today. You're going to notice a little bit lighter of that light green and yellow shade. Daytime highs are either at average or a little bit below average in places like Concord, or actually Livermore, and Hayward as we head into this afternoon. Negative or just about 2 to 3 degrees below where we should be right now. And that trend is going to continue into the next couple of days. So I'm going to talk more about what it's going to look like just in time for that Halloween forecast and some other changes we're going to notice as we head into next week. Rain is on tap for us too. Back to you, Reed.
All right, Jess, thank you for that and good morning to you. Okay, so we are tracking San Francisco's housing crisis as the city faces a state mandate to plan for 36,000 new homes by 2031 through a rezoning process. So state funding is on the line if the city does not adopt that rezoning plan that meets those requirements. So enter Mayor Daniel Lurie, who proposed what he's calling a family zoning plan. It allows more larger homes to be built in denser populations through the city. Now, remembering that the plan has to be what the state officials want at the peril of getting that funding, new this morning, a report from the city's controller's office gave us some numbers to really drill down. The conclusion, Mr. Lurie's plan does not meet those state requirements. We're talking about the need for 36,000 homes, but the report says Lurie's rezoning plan from North Beach over to the Sunset would only create just shy of 15,000 units by 2045. That's only about 40% of the homes required by the state. So it's going to be back to the drawing board. San Francisco supervisors are negotiating changes to Lurie's plan right now, and the clock is ticking. The mayor and supervisors have until the end of January to pass a proposal, not just talk about one, but pass one that meets those state requirements. Well, Mr. Lurie this morning shared that his plan will still build the housing needed for families to live in San Francisco. Kind of thin on details. We're working to get you a little more on that statement and what it actually means. Meanwhile, city leaders are taking wins where they can get them. Look at this. They're celebrating the opening of 2 new affordable housing buildings in the Hope SF redevelopment of the Sunnydale neighborhood today. This is the Amani building and the Nia building. They're going to add about 170 apartments for low-income families with amenities that include help, right, for daycare, wellness center on site, social services. This is a $180 million project that also has 6 micro retail spaces to maybe help Bay Area businesses get launched. Those businesses will occupy those spaces, and today is the celebration of that.
Well, on the heels of the Louvre heist in Paris, there is a major museum theft right here in the Bay Area. The Oakland Museum of California says that thieves made off with more than 1,000 priceless objects from its collection.
Yeah, we're talking about crucial items that really belong to the history of California this morning. They're gone. We're talking about Native American baskets, jewelry, photographs, even ivory that was taken from the museum's off-site storage facility. Katie Nielsen reports now the feds are involved.
We have really one of the greatest holdings of California history anywhere.
Lori Fogarty is the director of the Oakland Museum of California and says their collection includes more than 2 million items, only a handful of which can be on display at any given time.
So we, in our collection, have over 5,000 Native American baskets.
Most of the items in the museum's collection are stored in an off-site warehouse, which is where burglars broke in sometime late into the night on Wednesday, October 15th, or early in the morning, Thursday, October 16th.
It is heartbreaking for people who really dedicate their careers to preserving and stewarding and caring for and presenting objects of cultural and artistic importance.
Some of the items stolen include an old photograph, some jewelry, a woven Native American basket, and scrimshaws, which are ivory carvings, leading Fogarty to believe this was probably a crime of opportunity.
I think it is very possible that the people who stole these items don't really know themselves what they have.
Stealing from a museum is actually a federal offense, so the FBI's art crime team has gotten involved in the case. We spoke with former FBI Special Agent Jeff Harp about this specialized task force.
It's a small cadre of agents across the nation, probably less than 20. They have a lot of expertise in how these art deals are done, where a lot of times these, irreplaceable art pieces end up and sold. A lot of it's done underground, but these guys have a pretty good network of informants and information that allows them to track a lot of this stuff.
In 2012 and 2013, a man broke into the museum itself, stealing items from the Gold Rush exhibit both times. But police were able to catch the suspect when a pawn shop owner in Chinatown recognized a stolen jewelry box and called police. Fogarty hopes by releasing some photos of the items stolen 2 weeks ago, eagle-eyed members of the public might be able to help the museum recover them.
If people are at swap meets or they're at auctions or they're in a pawn shop or an antique store and something looks like, please let us know.
Well, moving around the Bay for headlines in your community. In Oakland, 9 alleged members of the Sereno Street Gang have been charged in connection with a series of violent crimes, including 2 murders. 6 of the 9 suspects were arrested Wednesday morning during an FBI raid on Coloma Street. 2 others were already in custody, and officers are still looking for a 9th person. The suspects are accused in more than a dozen crimes, including the murders of 2 men believed to be rival gang members in 2019. They're also accused of 3 attempted murders and drug and firearm trafficking. School closures might be back on the table for the San Francisco Unified School District. The district had paused a plan to close some schools to save money after a lot of pushback from families, teachers, and students. In a lengthy meeting on Tuesday, the board took the first step toward reviving that controversial proposal. They are directing the superintendent, Maria Sue, to come up with a comprehensive plan to address the district's declining enrollment while managing its steep budget deficit. The board is set to have a town hall meeting tonight at Mission High School.
Well, looking live at the U.S. Capitol right now, the U.S. government nears a tie for the longest shutdown in U.S. history, and there are consequences right where we live. So after tomorrow, federal food assistance for more than 5 million people in California is coming to an end. So California leaders know that the reality at grocery stores is going to hurt, and they're trying to shore up help. Our Brad Hamilton reports on the work to get people gift cards for groceries.
This is an awesome announcement.
Laura Calvejo, a San Francisco mother of 2, relies on SNAP benefits to feed her family. The government shutdown has thrown her life into limbo.
I feel very worried because I don't know if I'm gonna get the help for my kids, and it's something that everyone needs.
Laura spoke with us with the help of a Spanish translator.
It's very uncertain because sometimes you don't have the right answer. You're in a limbo of yes or no.
What's up, dude? How are you?
As Laura and her kids attended a pumpkin patch event for families living in the Tenderloin, they were introduced to San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie. And as he finished shaking their hands, he headed over to the steps of City Hall to deliver good news for families just like Laura's.
Your mayor and your leaders will not let this federal government shutdown prevent you from putting food on the table for your families.
San Francisco plans to cover all the expenses for the city's roughly 112,000 CalFresh recipients. Officials say that half of the $18 million needed to cover the cost is coming from the city's reserve fund, and the other half from a donation from the Crankstart Foundation, the family foundation of venture capitalist Michael Moritz.
This public-private partnership will ensure that every San Franciscan getting SNAP benefits will have assistance to buy groceries for the entire month of November.
By next week, the mayor's office says residents on SNAP should receive a QR code in the mail. That will let them download the money as a gift card. Those that want it another way can request a physical gift card be sent.
In my entire career, and now as mayor, it has never been acceptable to throw up our hands and expect kids, parents, and seniors to just figure it out.
Whether he knew it or not at the time, Mayor Lurie had met a family and a mom who desperately needed the news he would deliver moments later. Laura is beyond grateful it's coming her way. And in this picture with the mayor, a smile on her face says more than words could.
She feels very happy and very thankful as well.
Well, a spokesperson for the mayor's office admits that they know that QR code method Brad talked about won't work for everybody. They say they are working every day on alternatives. Community members are doing all they can to help. We were there as members of the group North Beach Citizens served food to seniors Wednesday. You see the need there. They also gave out flyers to make sure that non-English speaking residents learn ways that they can get help. Now, as for other counties in the Bay Area, we're learning more. Napa County leaders approved $1 million in food aid this week. Alameda County over in the East Bay approved $10 million for food insecurity programs. Much of that will benefit the Alameda County Community Food Bank. Now to health care, which has been the main sticking point between Republicans and Democrats blamed for this shutdown. Open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act opens Saturday. Be aware of that. Also be aware, though, that some premiums here in California are set to jump dramatically. Just for one example, for a couple in their mid-30s, each making $50,000 a year. Right now, the cost is around $166 a month for a Kaiser HMO plan. But next year, we're told that could jump to $330 a month and $181 for a Blue Shield HMO. Now that could jump to $392 a month starting next year. Well, with healthcare costs set to more than double, the pain makes for some pretty tough choices where we live.
Be thinking about not going one meal less a day. I mean, we're talking about drastic cuts to my life.
Drastic cuts to his life. Well, the healthcare price hikes are part of the battle shutting the federal government down. If Congress does nothing, tax subsidies put in place during COVID that help pay for covered California will end.
All right, time is 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, and President Trump calling for nuclear weapons to be tested again by the U.S. We're going to break down what could be a significant shift in U.S. policy.
And the California ballot applications drawing a big turnout among voters, the parts of the state seeing the most ballots so far.
And it's a beautiful, cool, and cloudy day for us today here in the Bay Area. Some big changes on the way for us as we creep closer to our Halloween forecast. I'll have more on that coming up in just a bit.
First Alert Weather, brought to you by AAA Insurance. Get a quote today.
Welcome back, everybody. So we are watching from our many video monitors here on this wall the headlines that are developing from all across the globe. So this morning we can tell you President Trump is heading back to Washington after a high-stakes meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. On Air Force One, Mr. Trump said he's agreed to cut the total combined tariff rate on China from 57% to 47%, and reports that China has agreed to resume buying American soybeans and other products. The president also signaled issues are settled over China's rare earth mineral exports. The president says he expects to sign a trade deal, quote, pretty soon. Another headline this morning, President Trump directing the U.S. military to conduct nuclear weapons testing. This post follows North Korea's announcement that it tested cruise missiles this week, along with following recent missile tests by Russia. The U.S., by the way, has not detonated a nuclear weapon since 1992, but has the ability to restart facilities in New Mexico. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino is expected to sit for a deposition this morning for whether federal agents have engaged in aggressive behavior against protesters. Bovino has become the face of something called Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago, which has resulted in more than 3,000 arrests in September. On Wednesday, an appeals court halted a judge's order requiring him to provide daily briefing on his agent's activities and to wear a camera. Justice Department attorneys convinced an appeals court that daily briefings would be, quote, extremely disruptive.
New information in the investigation of the Louvre heist. The Paris prosecutor telling French radio that 5 new suspects have been arrested in connection with that robbery. 2 suspects had previously been arrested in connection with that brazen theft. French prosecutors say they admitted their involvement in the heist, but the stolen crown jewels have not yet been found.
Taking a live look outside this beautiful Thursday morning. How about we see a pyramid glowing there before the sunrise? My goodness, look at that. There's a sign that even when things look foggy in your life, there's always light if you look up. Here's Jess, one of our lights.
All right, let's take a quick look at that forecast as we head outside today and tomorrow. Just in time for Halloween, we are going to see some big changes on tap for us. Starting off with today, though, it's a cool and cloudy setup for us widespread throughout the Bay Area. And these daytime highs today, they're a lot cooler. Low pressure starting to roll in. It changes our forecast significantly. I mean, yesterday we were about 10 degrees warmer off into those inland spots. We were talking about 80s in places like San Jose all the way off into the East Bay. Today we're back in the 70s. But here's the thing. You take a look at yesterday's temperature contour map and you compare it to today's. And we're seeing about daytime highs a little bit closer to average, a little bit cooler than average, actually, in places like Livermore all the way over into Hayward. As we zoom into those communities, we're about 3 degrees below average, putting us in the 60s and 70s throughout most of our communities as we head into this afternoon. So beautiful weather on tap for us, but yes, a lot cooler as we head outside today and tomorrow. You're going to notice it the moment you head out the door this morning. I definitely did this morning too. Now, here's what's happening for us as we head into the next 7 days. Luckily, it's a beautiful and dry setup for us just in time for Halloween. A lot cooler into those evening hours, so make sure those kiddos have a jacket ready to go. But once we head into next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a good chance we could see some showers pushing in from offshore, and this is going to be a cool system pushing in too. So daytime highs are going to look a little bit different. Take a look at what we have for now, though. We're holding on tight to 60s today in the Bay, back to 70s tomorrow, lasting into this weekend's forecast. This weekend's going to be gorgeous. Get out there, get fresh air, go on a trail run, walk, whatever you're doing. It's going to be a great day, Saturday and Sunday. Now we head into next week. Low pressure rolls in, this time bringing in rain, not just cool weather like we have today. So as you head over into our inland spots, you're definitely noticing the change too. 10-degree difference from yesterday into our forecast today. That puts us in the 70s for now. We'll be back into the 70s into this weekend with rain on tap for us into next week.
If you are heading out the door, let's get a check on your morning commute. Starting off with an accident near Fremont, crash on 880 southbound. That is before the Maury Avenue exit, so expect some delays in that area. At the Altamont Pass, it is already looking pretty packed there. Lots of red on the map. Speeds down to about 10 miles per hour. Heading over to the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, the metering lights are on. Slow and go moving into the city. But good news, if you are coming in on the Golden Gate Bridge, no major delays there. Traffic is moving smoothly. Now, if you're taking public transportation, no worries there. As of now, everything is running on time. So it should be a nice, easy ride into the city. And let's go live right now to the peninsula, taking a live look at what is a pretty quiet transit hub there. This is in Millbrae. Caltrain running smoothly at this hour. Reed.
Time right now, 6:21. Good morning, friends. Hey, a big question for the Niners this weekend. Will star quarterback Brock Purdy take to the field? Andrea Nakano going to have updates in our Red and Gold report. All right, so from stage to field. Bang, bang, Niner gang. The 49ers have another tough road test this Sunday as they head to New York to take on the Giants. Big question, could Brock Purdy return to the field as soon as this weekend? Andrea Nakano explains in this morning's Red and Gold report.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
The 49ers have quite a list of players that are injured that did not practice today, but Brock Purdy was out there making throws. This is his third week being limited in practice, and Coach Shanahan says whether or not he plays on Sunday is up to his QB.
You know, last time we felt like he was feeling pretty good, looked pretty good in practice. And then in the game, one hit and set him back 5 or 6 weeks, whatever this has been, 4 weeks. So it's kind of a sensitive situation, and hopefully getting some reps in practice and stuff will give him that confidence that it's better than it was last time.
Juwan Jennings is playing through multiple injuries right now, and it's definitely had an impact on his production the last 3 weeks.
Playing with injuries sucks. You know, it's always tough, and the hardest part is that nobody cares when you're out there on the field.
I just love playing with this team, man. It's just, to go out there every day and see guys, like Kittle, Juice, Mac 10 out here. We got a lot of guys on this team who want to contribute, and just great players that make it fun to come to work every day.
The 49ers offense had a season low of 15 points last week, but they hope to get back on track on Sunday against the Giants defense that has given up 71 points in the last 2 games. For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Andrea Nakano.
Andrea, thanks. So you can watch the 49ers game taking on the New York Giants this Sunday at 10 a.m.
Well, San Francisco Giants fans, today is the day that Tony Vitello has his introductory press conference as the Giants' new manager. Vitello, who's coming from the University of Tennessee, is a historic hire for San Francisco as he becomes the first college coach to move directly to the major leagues without any professional coaching experience. Press conference starts at 11 this morning. We're going to be streaming that live for you on the CBS News app.
6:26, a new Trump administration plan could open the Pacific once again to offshore oil and gas drilling, why some in Santa Cruz are speaking out.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
And it is 6:30, taking a live look outside. Ooh, looking a little moody out there as it's almost Halloween. Taking a check on the Bay Bridge. And, you know, we haven't talked about it too much, but we are turning our clocks back this weekend. Jess, what do you think that's going to mean?
I think that's going to mean I'm getting more sleep. And that's it. Here's what's happening for us as we head outside. I want to start off with our daytime highs and turning on those clouds. Yeah, it's spooky and it's cool for us. Here's what's happening for us today. Daytime highs are about 10 degrees cooler compared to where we were at yesterday. Yesterday was sunny anywhere from the coast all the way off to our inland spots. Today, not the case. Those clouds are starting to roll in from offshore as we head into the afternoon hours today, really lingering around into the afternoon hours too. But as I clear that and show you some other things going on, first things first, our daytime highs today, yeah, they're a lot cooler compared to where we were at yesterday. Here's yesterday's temperature contour map. Here's today. Notice that light green and yellow color highlighting most of the Bay Area. As we zoom in all the way over into places like Livermore and Hayward, we're holding on tight to daytime highs about 2 to 3 degrees below average this afternoon. A big change compared to where we were at yesterday. I'll have more on that coming up in a bit and how that's going to impact Halloween around the corner. And
all right, thanks, Jess. Local leaders pushing back against a new Trump administration plan that could open the Pacific once again to offshore oil and gas drilling. Len Ramirez has more from Santa Cruz, where even some visitors are voicing concern.
Well, Santa Cruz was one of the first cities in the nation to mount organized opposition to offshore oil and gas drilling back in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Now, with new federal plans on the table, folks here are gearing up to do it all over again.
On a crisp fall morning, the Canadian family of Fraser Flemons is soaking up the natural beauty of Santa Cruz, watching harbor seals and sea lions lounge beneath the wharf. Back home in Calgary, Fraser works for an oil and gas company, so he's not opposed to drilling. But here?
From a selfish perspective, I mean, I would prefer to just see natural views. I don't know, there's other places that you can extract it from that aren't like this.
That sentiment from someone who depends on oil for a living reflects how many here feel about protecting this stretch of coast. Today, about 100 local leaders, community groups, and concerned citizens gathered on the Santa Cruz Wharf, pushing back against the Trump administration's plan to expand offshore drilling along California's coastline.
The Trump administration has decided that for temporary profits for the oil companies, they're going to go in and try to ruin the billion-dollar economy of California's coast and ocean. We're not going to let that happen.
It's a duty Santa Cruz has long embraced. Since the late 1970s, the city has led the fight against offshore oil. It was among the first California cities to pass ordinances blocking onshore support facilities for drilling, setting off a wave of similar actions up and down the coast. Those efforts created what became known as the Blue Wall, a network of cities and counties united in opposition. Now, the Trump administration aims to break through that wall, saying offshore oil and gas drilling would strengthen U.S. energy independence, create jobs, and boost the economy. It has reignited a fight many thought was settled.
This administration is intent to erase the protections for our coastline.
Local conservation groups say they're ready for that fight, and just as before, they're calling on citizens like Pauline Seals to join in.
I mean, I'll put my body on the line if it comes to that.
For Santa Cruz, this battle isn't new, but it's as urgent as ever. Residents here say they're ready to defend the coast once more, just as they did a generation ago.
Now, earlier administrations, both Republican and Democrat, limited drilling to select regions like the Gulf of Mexico and parts of Alaska. The Trump administration plans to open up more than 90% of the U.S. outer continental shelf, including areas that had been off limits for decades, like the Northern California coast.
We are moving around the Bay Area this morning for headlines where you live. Leaders in Sonoma County are revamping rules for how to grow cannabis there. So despite opposition from neighbors and a lot of other people who are concerned about noise, smell, and traffic, and also concerns from agricultural trade groups, by the way, that include farms and local wineries, the board approved this revised ordinance that redefines cannabis as a form of controlled agriculture, which essentially means that farmers of cannabis can be eligible for tax breaks. Other rules govern cultivation, sales, and distribution outside of city limits. The board is set to take a second final vote to adopt that ordinance sometime in early December. Also in Sonoma County, an animal activist found guilty of stealing 4 chickens from a poultry farm. Zoe Rosenberg is part of the animal activist group Direct Action Everywhere. Well, that group released this video of Rosenberg taking the chickens from Petaluma Poultry in 2023. We have that video, guys? She claims that they were injured and needed care. Well, police got involved and Rosenberg ended up convicted of conspiracy and trespassing charges. She now faces a 5-year sentence. So far, no word on when that sentencing date will take place. To San Francisco's Mission District, sadness about the loss of a bodega cat mascot reportedly hit by a Waymo car. To 16th Street now, where neighbors outside of Randa's Market left a memorial honoring Kit Kat, who is the mascot.
This was built by the community. This was 100% built by the community. I came to give it a base and some fabric and some space to keep it safe. My coworker took that picture of Kit Kat. Someone brought him a crown. People brought him mice, little toy mice.
So others describe Kit Kat as a social, affectionate, and lovable animal. Flowers, candles, cards, all left. And I think it's important that we are reaching out to Waymo for a comment on this. This story really is about what neighbors are telling us, that the cat was hit by Waymo. We're going to continue following up on that story.
California is taking on golden mussels, the state stepping up its efforts to get rid of the invasive species to the tune of about $20 million. Golden mussels are known for clogging pipes and harming native species. They have spread from San Joaquin County to Los Angeles since they were first found in the state last year. Now, state funding will help San Joaquin County's new task force protect local resources and combat the spread of the species.
Intake pipes, farm pipes, storm drain, discharge. We obviously need to make sure that those don't get plugged, because then we could have local flooding. And then the water resources also, and farming for pumps.
Golden mussels also led to changes in the East Bay. The East Bay Regional Park District put in a new inspection process for boaters earlier this year to try to fight the spread. We are just a few days away from that special election that could determine the balance of power in Washington, D.C. We're talking about Prop 50 here in California that asks voters to allow the state to temporarily redraw its congressional maps to favor more Democrats. It's already drawing an impressive turnout for a special election. The latest numbers from the Secretary of State's website shows more than 5 million ballots have been cast out of 23 million vote-by-mail ballots that were sent out. This special statewide election on Prop 50 has garnered national attention, obviously, and influence amid redistricting efforts in other states. Lauren Toms has more on the high turnout and how it compares to previous special elections.
To have such a small election, this has generated a tremendous amount of interest.
Secretary of State Shirley Weber says voters are responding in a big way to the single statewide issue on the ballot. According to the department, every registered voter was issued a vote-by-mail ballot. State data shows many are returning them early, especially in counties that would see major changes if Prop 50 passes. The darker shade of green on this map represents counties with a higher percentage of ballots returned. Sierra County on the Nevada border has already seen more than 42% of voters cast ballots. Plumas County nearby is at 40% so far. Both counties, represented by Republicans, would be redrawn under Prop 50 to favor Democrats. In the Bay Area, Marin and Sonoma counties, which would also be impacted by the new maps, are also above 30% returned. That's well above the 2022 midterms, where just over 18% of ballots had been cast 1 week before Election Day. University of San Francisco political expert James Taylor says voters may be treating Prop 50 as a moment to weigh in on the state of politics right now.
The voters are trying to find a way of expressing themselves about the politics of now. And whether they're left or right or center, they are thankful, I think, for the outlet to be able to express something right now, send messages to politicians and to the government.
The stakes, he says, are high. The outcome is widely seen as a test of Governor Gavin Newsom's political influence. He led the campaign for Prop 50 and hasn't ruled out a run for president in 2028.
This vote will be in part interpreted as support for Gavin Newsom, not just for the proposition itself, but also for the prospects of his presidency.
It's a yes-no choice with no other competing statewide initiatives, which could also incentivize voters to make a decision early, he says. But for Weber, it's a welcomed moment of civic participation.
It is generating, however, quite a bit of interest, and that's important. And we hope it continues to do that so that people actually turn out and express yes or no what they want with regards to this particular issue in California.
So the state insists that the election is safe and secure, regardless of how voters decide to cast their ballots. And officials are encouraging everyone to return those ballots early, but polling places and ballot boxes are going to remain open through Election Day. That reminds me, still have to fill out that ballot. Got a little bit more time. I'm always the last minute. But when it happens next week, join us for the morning edition right here at 6 a.m. for everything you need to know about Prop 50. We're going to be there when the polls are opening on Election Day, Tuesday, and update you on results when they close Tuesday night. So you can watch on KPIX and on Pix Plus or stream it on the free CBS News app.
All right, we've got you covered. We are looking at a story that can warm your heart. It's a free art exhibit at San Francisco's Museum of Modern Art, all done by cancer patients. 30 works represent a first-of-its-kind exhibit at a major art museum here in the Bay. On hand, breast cancer survivor and mother of two, 36-year-old Susanna Gershony. She created a work using her hair that she lost during chemotherapy.
When I was diagnosed, my daughter was 2.5 and my son was 5 months old. And you know, you want to be around to watch your kids grow up. To be able to bring my daughter here tonight and have her see what it is that I channel my passion into, to share that with her, I think that is actually the best part of this evening.
Also that you're there, my friend. We're glad that you fought and survived. And look at all of this art. It's emblematic that you too can conquer hard things. This art is part of UCSF's Art for Recovery program formed during the AIDS epidemic. It's in the museum's public space, so you don't need a ticket to see it. Again, it's free, and the works will be on display, maybe to give you a lift today. You can do that all the way through spring. Go check it out.
Very cool. 6:41. And it's day 30 of the government shutdown. The crucial deadlines looming and food funding on the line.
Live look outside right now. Look at that. Black Mountain looking over towards the Santa Cruz Mountains. Sunrise coming up. Thank you so much for being a part of our morning. We'll be right back.
Watching live video from our many monitors, bringing us headlines from across the globe. And it is day 30 of the government shutdown. Still no signs that willing to budge. The standoff is about health care subsidies and a push to fund nutrition programs like WIC and SNAP. And there are some major deadlines coming up. Troops are due to be paid tomorrow. Saturday, health care premiums are set to increase when open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act begins. The same day, food stamp benefits are set to expire. And President Trump just announced on Truth Social that he is giving South Korea permission to build a nuclear submarine here in the U.S. According to President Trump, it's going to be built in Philadelphia. Right now, South Korea has only diesel-powered subs. The country wants nuclear-powered vessels to keep up with China and North Korea.
Well, remember, phone a friend. Sometimes you just want to pick it up and call somebody. So let's do that right now. Phoning a friend. Later on CBS Mornings, Gail King has a lineup of everything that's coming up from New York. Good morning, Gail. It's nice to pick up the call this morning.
And guess what, Reed? Whenever you call, I'll always pick up. I'll never send you to voicemail. It's always good to see you. Or press ignore, dismiss, never do that to you. Here's what's coming up on CBS Mornings. Our Facing Fertility series concludes with a look at an unoften spoken part of the conversation. We're talking about male infertility. We'll dig into what causes it and the treatments offering hope. Plus, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Natalie Morales takes a ride. Look at this, the Pink Jet it's called, and introduces you to the female pilots who are sharing a very powerful message of strength and resilience. That thing is pink, and I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's great looking. And there she is, lovely Oscar-nominated actor Diane Lane, a legend, joins us in the studio today to discuss her new film. It's called Anniversary, and why she says the role hits pretty close to home. The movie's great. She's great. We're very excited today. We'll see you at 7 o'clock. Reed, it's a little over 10 minutes from now. And shout out to Gianna.
And also, I've got Jess here. She knows that pilot, Stephanie. Hey.
Oh, yeah, that pink jet looks so cool up in the sky, Gail. I know you're going to love that story.
I think so, too. And then guess what? As you know, it's got the pink smoke coming behind it. I think it's very powerful and sends a great message.
Love it. Thank you so much, Gail. Have a great day.
Halloween is tomorrow, and animals at the San Francisco Zoo getting into the spooky spirit. They got some tasty Halloween-themed snacks as a treat just ahead of the holiday. All right, taking a live look outside this Thursday morning. This is from our camera on Mount Diablo, taking a look as the sun rises across the Bay Area. So, Jess, yesterday was really quite beautiful, albeit warm. Some changes today?
I know. I kind of loved yesterday, though, if I'm being honest. It was 10 degrees above average in some of our microclimates. Today, we are back down to average, and I'm going to start off by showing you just what's happening for us this morning. Skies throughout the coast and the Bay as we wake up and head out the door. Daytime highs today, a lot cooler, too. We're back down into the 70s in places like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley, all the way up into Santa Rosa. We're seeing a similar trend, 70s on tap for us today. I want to show you a couple of things. I'm going to turn on our temperature contour map from yesterday, and then I'm going to turn it on for today. A slight change. You're seeing a lot more green along the coast, a lot more yellow, meaning more mild conditions. And better yet, let me just also show you, one more time, let me show you these daytime highs too compared to where we usually are for this time of year. We're a little bit below average today. Zoom all the way over into Livermore and all the way down into Concord and Hayward. We're either sitting right around average or just a little bit below. Every microclimate is different though, and we're continuing to monitor that closely as we creep closer to this Halloween forecast. Luckily, it's going to be a dry one for us tomorrow. It's not until next week, as early as Tuesday and Wednesday, where we actually see some showers on tap for us right around the corner. That's going to push in from north to south, so that's going to keep us nice and cool next week, too. Take a look at the next 7 days. I mean, gosh, cloudy skies today. We quickly turn back to sunshine just in time for Halloween tomorrow. 70s on tap for us for the Bay. And then we're going to hold on to 70s into next week before the rain rolls in as early as Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Now, you make your way over into our inland spots across that beautiful Bay Bridge behind me, over into the East Bay in the Santa Clara Valley. We have mid-70s for us today, upper 70s tomorrow for Halloween. And then we start to see a nice cool down into next week with cloudier skies as early as Tuesday. So just get prepared. That umbrella is going to need to be nearby as we head into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. I'll have more on that coming up in a bit. It's beautiful. Beautiful day for us today, though. Right back to average for daytime highs and a little bit more clouds on tap for us, too. Back to you.
All right, unfortunately, the commute not as beautiful, not horrible, but let's get you the information you need if you're heading out the door, taking a live look at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. A little more traffic than usual this morning at this time. There is an accident heading into the city, blocking the number 3 lane. That is on 80 westbound just before the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza exit. If you're heading out of San Francisco, you can watch for another crash on the Bay Bridge, this time heading eastbound. That is right after the Hillcrest Road exit. Toward Pittsburgh, seeing a lot of red on the maps there. There is a crash right now at Bailey Road and Canal, so expect some delays in that area. And in the South Bay, there is a car on fire. That is on the entry ramp to 280 northbound at the Guadalupe Parkway exit. And that is a look at your morning commute.
Super Bowl weekend will be a big one for music fans in the Bay. Rock superstar Sting has been announced to headline a concert 2 days ahead of the big game in Santa Clara. That show will be at the Palace of Fine Arts. It's part of the NFL's Super Bowl concert series. We love that. Also, country star Chris Stapleton will perform ahead of the Super Bowl as part of a show put on by the Bay Area Host Committee. Some of my favorite people there at the Bay Area Host Committee. Well, just 1 day away from Halloween. You ready?
Yeah. I just have not gotten enthused yet this year.
Right.
There's still a few
you
hours.
Borrow my kids, they'll get you enthused.
Yes, I think that's probably a good idea. Actually, I might go trick-or-treating with my niece tomorrow.
Fun.
So, one of those neighborhoods that has drinks for the adults as well.
We love it.
Get into the party. So,
raising a child early and the way they should go.
So, meantime, though, San Francisco Civic Center Plaza hosted its first ever pumpkin patch as part of the lead up to Halloween. The city invited more than 850 kids from the Tenderloin for a day of pumpkin picking, trick-or-treating, and arts and crafts. Players from the Golden State Valkyries showed up to join in on the fun.
Just to, again, be someone that young kids can look up to. I think that's a goal of mine, to just leave a long-lasting impact. And so in every way, on the court and off, I just try and be that kind of role model.
Many of the kids left the event with autographs and smiles on their faces.
We'll take that. They better get some candy too, right? 6:52 in the morning. Good morning, everybody. So, we're watching your wallets. We know the Federal Reserve cut interest rates to the lowest level in 3 years. Up next, we have more on that decision and how it will impact your wallet. A lot of people hoping it affects mortgage rates. We've got that in your Money Watch report.
And a prehistoric animal roaming around San Francisco's Dolores Park just in time for Halloween. Coming up next, we're going to meet the T-Rex, sparking joy this season. All right, it is 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. Time for your Money Watch report. Taking a live look at the big board this morning. You can see the Dow is up just about 200 points. Federal Reserve trimming interest rates to the lowest level in 3 years as concerns grow about the job market. Government shutdown delayed some key economic data, so the Fed relied on private sector surveys to make that 0.25% cut. Several major companies have announced layoffs, including UPS, Target, Amazon, and Paramount, parent company of CBS News. Paycheck processor ADP says private sector payrolls shrank by 32,000 jobs last month. Amazon's latest round of cuts announced this week will impact hundreds of people here in the Bay Area. The tech giant planning to cut 14,000 corporate positions by early next year. And according to the San Francisco Business Times, more than 600 of those will come from Amazon's Bay Area offices. We're talking Sunnyvale, Palo Alto, and Santa Clara. And it's not just Amazon. Meta also announcing it's going to cut more than 300 jobs at its headquarters in Menlo Park. That is starting next month.
Well, it takes a lot to turn heads in San Francisco, especially on Halloween.
That is the truth. But as our Itai Hod reports, one local dynamite creation might just steal the show this year.
In a cramped garage right across from San Francisco's Dolores Park, something prehistoric is about to emerge.
And it looks like it's good to go.
For the past 3 years, lawyer and artist Trevor Mead has been working on a monster of a project. He flips the switch, steps in, adjusts the controls, and just like that, the creature comes to life. Meet the Dolorosaurus. A 7-foot tall, 15-foot long, glowing dinosaur on a mission to light up people's lives. About once a week, he roams the area.
There we go.
Stomping his way into people's hearts.
Dun, 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 dun.
That is the best Halloween costume I've ever seen.
Only in San Francisco. Trust, only in San Francisco.
Is it like this every time? People following you around?
Every single time.
The idea hatched in 2023 when Mead saw a dinosaur art installation and thought, what if I made my own? Only his would be less Jurassic Park and more Dolores Park.
It is spreading joy at exactly the time and place where we need it most.
With PVC bones and skin made of foam lined with LED lights, the Dolorosaurus can roam the streets for up to 6 hours at a time.
Ah, there you go.
And at the end of the night, after a little scratch under his chin,
he'll purr like a kitten.
This little dino heads back to his cave. Mission accomplished.
When I'm done, I'm tired, but it's always satisfying. And so, especially when nothing broke.
It's a reminder that sometimes even the craziest idea can spark a kind of joy that never goes extinct.
The back up into the garage was hilarious. Beep, beep.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he just needs to build a beep, beep, beep in. You cannot risk being run over by a dinosaur backing up, everybody.
Right.
That's what I tell my dogs every day when I wake up. Hey, coming up, we'll introduce you to a San Francisco man who's been providing holiday cheer to those who need it most for more than 5 decades. Meet our CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner still ahead.
And the Tony Award-winning musical set in a Sausalito music studio back in the 70s, getting ready to rock the Bay Area. We're going to be chatting live with one of the stars of Stereophonic in our Bay Area backstage. So we have a lot going on right now. Follow us over to Channel 44, Cable 12, or you can stream us on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then choose Bay Area.
All right, so when you're out on the roads, just look out for that dinosaur, everybody. Steer clear. We'll see you over on the community station, Fix Plus 44.